Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news as talks of Zinedine Zidane to Manchester United escalate in the press, and also Brendan Rodgers ready to move to Manchester United. They're the two big headlines this morning, this Sunday morning. We'll be talking about that. Also, I can see somebody's mentioned the protest in the chat. More than happy to talk about that. Very simple situation that people should not be getting angry about on either side of the story. So we'll talk about that if you want to. Also, massive thanks to everyone who got involved in the charity yesterday. 31,000 is where we're at, which I'm just beaming, absolutely beaming at what a great community we have, and you know, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. But we'll get into this. Also a little bit about Pochettino as well. I think this is all spin, and I'll talk to you about why that is in a minute. But loads to get into, and obviously we're going to start off with Zidane and a little bit about Brendan Rodgers. But before we do that, you might see I'm feeling a bit chilly, a bit cold today. It is starting to get a bit cold as well, and I just wanted to say a big shout out to Boohoo Man, who've sponsored the show for us this Sunday morning. As you know, and as we have done many times in the past, 40% off for United Stand viewers. All you've got to do is click the link in the video description and you can get 40% off with Boohoo Man, as per usual. But more than that, I'm wearing some of their very latest stuff, as you can see. Let's hope this can be my new lucky top and helps United get the win against Watford. I think we'll take anything at the moment to win. We do need to win. If you're looking to add some really cool new items to your wardrobe, then Boohoo Man has everything you need at exceptionally reasonable prices. It does not matter if it's clothing for going out, working out or chilling out. Boohoo Man will have something for you. 40% off, as I've said before, using the link in the video description, which is United Stand. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link below and you could be looking as sexy as me in no time. Well, you can try. Thanks very much to Boohoo Man for supporting the United Stand. And now we can move on with the show. And I like this one because it's padded. It's padded around here, but it's not here. So it's just makes me feel nice and snug because I'm bloody knackered. I've only had about 5 hours sleep, but I didn't want to sleep in because I wanted to get in to this news story that was breaking last night about Zinedine Zidane and about Brendan Rodgers. And we're going to start off about Zidane. So this is coming from the Times. Look, I'll give you my thoughts on it afterwards, but the story is coming from the Times, and effectively what they are saying is, and I think it's via Duncan Castles, who, again, in himself, sometimes can be right, sometimes can be wrong. Manchester United are working to persuade Zinedine Zidane to succeed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United's manager after a series of debilitating results and performances under the Norwegian. Zidane is understood to be unsure whether the opportunity presented by Man United is the right one to take at this point. Manchester United's hierarchy are hopeful that Zidane's close relationship with United's key summer signings, Cristiano Ronaldo and Rafael Varane, can help to convince him to join. Now, look, you might be feeling the way I feel about that one straight away. I have always wanted Zinedine Zidane as Manchester United's manager ever since we sacked Mourinho. I felt he had the right profile after Mourinho when we went with Ole for 3 years. And I think he's got the perfect profile now, and he's available, and he's not at Real Madrid. So for me, nobody's going to dissuade me from the suitability of Zinedine Zidane, who won 3 Champions Leagues in a row with a very good squad, came back and won the La Liga without Ronaldo, and has a very, very good track record of having a good, excellent, I would say, coaching team around him, strong development of youth within his teams, and an emphasis on attacking football. So those are the core principles that I look for. I don't need to write War and Peace about suitability of Manchester United manager. We have a manager at the moment that doesn't develop youth, that doesn't play good football, and can't manage a very good squad. Zidane is the opposite of that, and he's a proven winner. And also, he walks into any dressing room in world football and people bow down to him because not only is he a proven winner as a manager, he's one of the world's best ever players. So Zidane is absolutely perfect. I cannot understand why people don't want Zidane. But you know what? That's down to personal preference. If you're not happy about that appointment, that's absolutely fine. But he is not a French Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got an amazing squad and gets stuffed by Leicester and Liverpool and Man City. Zidane had a fantastic squad and won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. There are levels to this game. So I would love for Zidane to come to Manchester United. Mark, you promised to put your Christmas decorations up today if you hit 30k. Have you kept your promise? Because you didn't answer at 20k like you promised, says Rockstar Chicken. I'm sure I can put them Christmas decorations, mate, but I've only just got up. Put Rodgers and Haag resume on a piece of paper with no name attached. Rodgers is clear. If he was at Ajax, he would be doing the same, if not better, says Stuart. Well, we'll talk about Brendan in a moment, but we're talking Zidane at the moment. Now, what I want to say straight away about this is, am I encouraged that there are stories linking us to Zidane? Yes. Do I think we are going to get Zidane? No. Do I think this is spin a week out from Watford to get people feeling optimistic? Yes. Are people going to say, how can it be spin when they're linking us to managers? Because you've got to work, you've got to sit in the room where Man United are sat at the moment thinking, how do we spin this mess around? I mean, there's a British journalist today put an article out basically saying that Harry Maguire deserves more respect and it's not fair that Roy Keane called him out on Friday night. That's spin. That's trying to get people feeling sorry for Harry Maguire. That's what we have to do with Manchester United players now. When they're in the wrong, we have to get a violin out and feel sorry for them. Sympathy FC. That's what we've become. You know, players can't actually prove themselves on the pitch now as leaders and footballers for the club. So they have to have articles put in the press for them to make people feel sorry for them. Feel sorry for them FC. Is that what we are? We used to be a team of men, of winners and leadership. And now we are a team of let's earn respect through sympathy. As my granddad always said to me, and he learnt this as a little boy in the 50s. Well, no, I think he was born in the 40s, actually. It must have been born in the 40s. Yeah, he was born during the war. Respect is earned. Respect is earned. It's one of the key manners and key principle learning lessons in life. Respect is earned. That's all. That's any United player at the moment that feels hard done by. Tattoo it on your forehead. Look in the mirror. Respect is earned. It's as simple as that. If you live by those rules, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. But going back to Zidane, I believe that Manchester United have hidden like cowards for over a week. We're 8 days after Manchester Derby now, and we've had nothing from the club other than send everybody away to hide. I think today, this Zidane story coming out last night, I feel they might have gone, this ain't working. This is not, we've all hidden away for 8 days and it's not working. It's not gone quiet. They've not read the room. Typical United at the moment. They don't read the room. They're so arrogant, they don't read the room. And I think what's happened is they've gone, oh, this is not changing. People aren't actually getting over this. People still want Solskjaer gone. People are still very mad with the Glazers. What do we do? Oh, I know. I've got a really clever idea. Go for it, John. What if we put a story out there that we're interested in Zidane, but we're not? I know, but if we put the story out, it'll get people excited for a couple of days, and then it'll be Tuesday, and then people will be thinking about Watford. And then if we beat Watford, Ollie's at the wheel. I love it, John. Let's do it. And that's my fear. I don't know that for a fact, but in the world of PR spin, you can chuck a story out like that ultimately, what does it do? People get excited that we might be getting Zidane. If they've got no intention of getting Zidane and they're just trying to buy some time, what does it matter? We can't sack Solskjaer, they have to. We can't appoint Zidane, they have to. And if a story comes out that we want Zidane and we don't get Zidane and it buys them more time for Ollie, then I just suspect that might be what the angle is. Because with this club, I think if you expect the worst, anything better is going to be a bonus, really. So, look, I'd love it if we're talking to Zidane. I would love it. But what I would also say to that is, why have we not been talking to Zidane for the last month? It's nearly a month since we lost to Leicester. That was, if you know anything about football, that loss to Leicester was like pick up the phone to Zidane. And he's free. He's not managing Real Madrid. He's free. And his assistant coach is free. Like this, why are we 8 days after Man City and we're getting stories about talking to Zidane? What have we been doing for 8 days? Playing bloody Minecraft? Like, what have we been doing for 8 days? So, I don't trust this story. I don't trust this football club. And I don't think that they are talking to Zidane. I really don't. But I wish they were. And I wish he would come to Manchester United because I think he'd be bloody brilliant. I read that Rangers are looking at Carrick for a replacement as an extra gift. McKenna and Phelan can go with them. No free run, says Lucas. Mate, Rangers, if you want to get Michael Carrick and McKenna and Phelan up to Rangers for an interview, don't worry about Zoom. I'll bloody drive them. And I bet there's 1,000 other people who will do it as well. I just want to see a change at Manchester United in the coaching setup. And I'd love those people to go to Rangers and do really well, by the way. But you've had your chance at United. It's coming up for 3 years. Carrick and McKenna have actually been at United longer. They should not be thrown into the equation of Ollie. Ollie's been here for nearly 3 years in December. It's coming up for 3 years in December, if you count the interim. Carrick and McKenna have been here a lot longer than that. They must be over 4 years. The United board are implanting the same tactic they used in Shaun of the Dead. Let's go to the Winchester and wait for it all to blow over. Incompetence, as Nick. So there we are with Zidane. I think that with Zidane, it's he's my ideal coach, and I've been saying that for 3 years now. But he's available. And what I would have done if I was a United board member is I would have realised this was going to shit after Leicester. I would have spoken to Zidane. I would have found out whether he was interested, and if there was any hint that he could be persuaded, I'd have been on to Ronaldo and Varane and anybody who knows Zidane, and I would say, you might be having can you have a word with him? And I would have done it last week. He'd have been coming in the international break. And this is the appalling thing. We're sat here 5 days out from Watford, less than 2 weeks out from Chelsea, and we're talking about talks with Zidane. Just hold on to this for a moment when you think about our owners, right? We're talking about talks with Zidane 8 days after the Manchester derby, over halfway through an international break, which is the perfect time to bring a new manager in. We lost to Leicester nearly a month ago. We lost to Liverpool, was it 3 weeks ago? We lost to Manchester City last week. We've had so much time to talk to Zidane. I just don't buy it. I think it's just buying times. Zidane's assistant Bertoni is employed by Lyon, says Arjun. Well, that's news to me, Arjun. I'm sure I checked last week and I thought he wasn't working at the moment. But if that's the case, that is the case. So I'm sure we could get him, though. I'm sure we could get him. But it's money, isn't it? They won't want to spend the money, will they? They'll be looking for the cheapest way out, of course. Right, I want to talk about Brendan Rodgers because apparently he is looking for a house in Cheshire. Now, I will talk to you about this protest yesterday in a moment as well, because I know some people are very confused and angry and frustrated and whatever about that. So I do want to talk about that because I think there's some very clear reasoning around what happened yesterday, and it's just a shame that people are falling out about it, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I ain't no expert, but I cannot stop thinking about how a 4-4-2 might help us getting all the talent on the field, Sancho, etc. We just need that CDM, says Maz. I think 4-4-2 you'd get overrun really, unless you played two really deep midfielders. Great work yesterday, Mark. Hope you got some sleep. I didn't get much sleep, Jody, but look, legendary day yesterday. Absolutely loved it, and to raise so much money for people with terminal illness is just amazing. Just don't, as I said at the end of the stream yesterday, never let people say that this community is negative. I think that what we talk about is what we care about, and the reality is, how can you be negative when the club is in the mess that it's in? I mean, I don't get what people are meant to be when the club is in the mess it's in. Like, how can you call anybody negative when they're moaning about the way the club's being run at the moment? If we were top of the league by 20 points and we just won the treble, and people are moaning, that's negativity. But look, negativity, there's no negativity around United at the moment from the fans. There's just facts. Hi Mark, do you think Zidane would win anything if he came to Man United? I mean, I think those sort of questions, Lemon, are irrelevant. I personally don't want those conversations at the moment. The next manager, which should be here now, I'm not going to say win the league. I'm not going to say we're definitely going to win the league, because we've done all that before. We did it with Mourinho. We even did it with Van Gaal. We hoped it with Moyes. We thought Ollie. I think the realisation and acceptance about where Man United are. I think we're heading towards where Arsenal were, and I've been saying about Arsenal. You shouldn't be talking about top four. You should be talking about re-establishing yourself as a club and trying to take steps forward. United are falling so hard at the moment. There should be no talk about titles for the next manager. We need to re-establish ourselves and see where we are under a new manager before we start predicting we're going to win titles. And that realism is a harsh realism, but it's been inflicted on us by these owners because they've dropped the standards through the cellar. I don't know how English people calling Zidane French Ollie. He took Real to Champions League semi with 60 injuries and nearly won the Liga in last day, says Aswin. I think he did a fantastic job. I think he's a fantastic coach. I can't speak about Zidane enough. But let me talk about this news about Brendan Rodgers, because whilst that story about Zidane leaves me feeling dubious, and I hope there's something in it, I think this story from Alan Nixon, who's a journalist based in the north, is actually rather encouraging. Now, some people have said to me he's quite reliable. Some people have said, oh, I'm not so sure. The reality is, I think there's a reliability to what he's saying. And he's tweeted again this morning saying that Brendan Rodgers is house hunting in Cheshire. Well, Cheshire is obviously where a lot of people who work and play for Manchester United live. And obviously Brendan Rodgers manages in Leicester. So Brendan Rodgers looking for a house in Cheshire. Maybe he's looking to retire. Maybe he's looking to move to Manchester United. Now, the thing about Brendan Rodgers is some people think the Brendan Rodgers story is a smokescreen to get Zidane. What I would say is I don't think it's a smokescreen. I think at worst United are putting it out there that they're in for Rodgers to try and prompt Zidane to say he'll take the job. Or I think Brendan Rodgers is the preferred target for Manchester United. He's been the bookies' favourite for over a week. It was this time last week we were talking about United going for him. And I've got to be honest with you, on the things I've heard all week, this has always been the prominent story. Brendan Rodgers, Manchester United. The thing has made me probably not get as focused on it as I should, although I have been saying all week, I still think United will sack Solskjaer and bring another manager in. I realise we're in the last chance saloon now. If it doesn't happen, if he takes training tomorrow morning or today or whenever he's back, they've stuck with him in incompetence rules. But there's no doubt in my mind that there's something going on with Brendan Rodgers. Now, I don't know what that something is. Again, it could be pure incompetence that United are going, if there's another bad result, we will offer you the job. But if he's the choice, he should be manager now. Like, he should be manager now. It's disrespectful to Ollie to linger this on. It's disrespectful to Rodgers to not let him know. And it's disrespectful to Leicester and United fans for leaving them in the lurch. But I'm sorry, Leicester fans, and I'm sorry, United fans. We're in the hands of the Glazers and Ed Woodward here, and their incompetence has no bounds, it seems, when it comes to sorting issues out. The reality is Brendan Rodgers could well be Leicester manager for the rest of the season, and Ollie could well be Manchester United manager for the rest of the season. But I do believe something is going on with Brendan Rodgers, and I'm not sure what the time limit is on that. Is it, right, Ollie's going to get sacked in the next 24 hours and Brendan Rodgers is going to be our coach? I would have expected somebody to have picked up on that more than his house hunting in Cheshire. So I just, at this point, I think we've handled it really badly over the last 8 days. I would be very, very excited if Solskjaer was removed before the Watford game when we got a new coach in. I would be, because I think we're at that point now. It's never nice that someone gets sacked, but we're at that point now where we need to progress and we need to step forward. And the club desperately needs a positive. There's so much negativity around the fan base at the moment because they're deflated. So, and it feels like the international break has been a break, but we're about to go into playing a lot of games between now and Christmas, and there's a flat feeling. And look, we could beat Watford, we could beat Villarreal, but the minute we lose another game, this is all going to come flooding back tenfold. So it just feels like an unenthusiastic time, and it feels like we're going to go on the we're going to be a bit like a yo-yo. We might win one and people be like, I don't trust it, and then the loss will come. When I see Ollie's face, my anger boils up inside. I feel so disgusted. What was the purpose of his holiday, says Stephen Lee. Zidane, first actions as a manager would be to walk into Edward's office and headbutt in the chest. Would love Zizou, says Clarkey. You know what? I actually have moved past Solskjaer. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Rodgers and Zidane. Hopefully something will happen. I'll say here right now that Zidane's always been my number one choice, but I'll stick by what I've said about Brendan Rodgers. I would take him now. I'd pick him up from Leicester and take him to Manchester United. I would absolutely take him, back him, and want him as Manchester United manager. Of course, there are conflicts in relation to appointing Brendan Rodgers, but I don't think they're unsurmountable. I think people would move past them very quickly, because I think at the moment the club is down here under Solskjaer, and under Brendan Rodgers, I think in a very short period of time you'd see us go up here. And any reservations you've got about Liverpool connections would disappear very fast as you saw development, good football, and a plan. And he's also brilliant at recruitment. So I think people would move past that very, very quickly. But look, United have got to make that move on one of these people, and we'll have to wait and see whether they do or they don't. In relation to Solskjaer, I have to be honest, when I see pictures of him training with the team this week, if we see them, or we see him next Friday in the press conference, I will find it very irritating. But that is only honesty, because, and it's not, I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I love it. I was doing my FIFA draft yesterday on the charity stream, and it was unbelievable. I actually had Solskjaer, the player, up front, and he scored some goals, and it was a great couple of games that we played on the charity stream, because I love Solskjaer, the player. I love Solskjaer, the player. He's an absolute legend. He gave me the best night of my life in a footballing sense. So I love Solskjaer, the player. But as a manager, he's spent. It's like listening to him in a press conference on Friday will be just... There's nothing he can say. There's nothing he can say that's going to, sort of change this situation around. And I find that, you know, really, really difficult. I've just realised, yes, it's one of those. Do you like these? You know, these, this is great. So it's padded here. It's got like the normal material there, but then it's got these things on. I love it when I'm out playing football or something like that. I love that. You know, like you stick your thumb through there and they become like gloves up to your things. Dennis Law. They're brilliant. Links in the video description, by the way. Boohoo Man, 40% off with the code United Stand. An impromptu integration there, but I actually was just messing around and they have got them on. I love that. This international break would have been the perfect opportunity to get a replacement Solskjaer, but of course we have incompetent owners, says Jack Lynch. Oh yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, Solskjaer for me is it's just a very difficult sell to have to watch him. And what I will say is, and I think Jack's absolutely spot on, is that Solskjaer can't sack himself. He should not walk away from a payout because that's ridiculous. He'll never get another job again. And people say Ollie should walk away like Gattuso walked away from Milan, but Gattuso will get another job. He's actually not a bad coach. Ollie's never going to get a job again at the pay level of this, and you know, this is the biggest payout he's going to get of his life, and it's £7 million, and they gave him the contract in the summer, so he should get that payout. And if he walks away from that, he's jeopardising his family life in the future, because he won't get a job anywhere near as paid well as this. He will never. I mean, look, I'm not even doing this to say this is why he should be sacked. We know the reasons he should be sacked, but Solskjaer will never get a job in the Premier League again. He will never, ever get a job in the Premier League again. This is it for him. When he gets sacked by United, he will never get a job in the Premier League again. And people will say, "We'll never say never," but who would? Like, where's the redemption? Where is the redemption arc? I think he's into. Is he like late 40s now? You know, so to heal the you know, his reputation is in the mud as a coach. Like it's not respected in the world of football. People. The worst thing that's happened to Ollie is that yes, he's had £400 million to spend, but he's not been able to use it. So his reputation in the world of football now is he's not a coach that's done well with limited resources. He's a coach that's failed with unlimited resources virtually. So no one's going to go, oh, he'll be a good coach. Why would I mean the base job that Solskjaer could get would be like a Norwich, or from the Championship, maybe a Birmingham City or something like that. Well, they've got no resources really, so they're not going to take Solskjaer because he doesn't have that in it. His CV is loads of money and failure. There is no job he's going to get. He'll be back in Norway, and then I don't think anyone will ever take him again. So Solskjaer has got every right to hold out for that payment, and I think again that's on Solskjaer, that's on the Glazers. Immediately talking about how people find the fan base in context of the great thing that was done yesterday is the reason people think that. It's a shriek. Mark, could please ask Jordan for tonight's show, would he take Rob Page as United manager now, considering he's done very well with Wales, says Michael Southcombe. Okay. Rafa Benitez managed Liverpool but now manages Everton, and the Everton fans are coming to terms with him. I mean, that's a massive thing, Michael Kim, yeah. The only upside to the international break until now is that United haven't dropped any points, says Arjun. And Tajwar, thank you very much. And immediately talking, okay, thank you from that. So thanks for the super chats that are coming in. Let me just talk to you about Pochettino, because there was a story about Pochettino this morning saying that, you know, he'd be open to managing in the Premier League after he's managed at PSG. I would file Pochettino under irrelevance. Like, I've said this so many times about Pochettino. United and Pochettino are like ships that pass in the night. They're never in the same harbour at the same time. Yes, he probably should have been United manager, but we missed out. You know, there was times we could have got Pochettino. There was times Pochettino wanted to come to United, and we just crossed over. When Pochettino was out of a job, United, stuck with Ollie. When United want to get rid of Ollie, Pochettino's in a job, and that's happened with him at Spurs, and that's happened with him at PSG. And now he's like, well, I'd be interested in the United job, but we need somebody now. We can't wait until the summer. And I would say with Pochettino as well, if you want the United job, tell us you want the United job and get out of Paris. Like, don't be like, oh, I'd quite fancy that when I've done here. No, that's no good for us. We want somebody who's going to drop everything to come to our club right here, right now. Hi Mark, it's my 20th today. It was the 24th of October this year, the same day we lost 5-0 to Liverpool. What a way to spend my 20th on this planet, says Tajwa. Well, don't let that define your birthday. At the end of the day. We are the new Liverpool. We keep getting new managers, says Little Games. And Mark, if Zidane would be appointed, how long do you think he would accept the incompetence at this football club, says Advath Warrior. Do you think Gary Neville would take Ollie at Salford? I mean, Salford are sort of lower half of the table, League Two. Tell you what, I would love Gary Neville to appoint Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager. I would absolutely love it. I would actually watch Salford games and I would listen to what Gary's got to say, because I think he would have to sack him, because I don't think he would be good enough. But I mean, that's never going to happen, is it? He might be a legend in your eyes for all time, but a lot of fans have lost respect. The longer he stays, the more damage he will do, says Red Baron. No, I think you're absolutely spot on then, Red Baron. I mean, I said this last week. I think that the longer Ollie stays in that job, the more damage it does to his reputation. Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Because I understand that people are having this issue. If he went now, I think people would go, it was the right time to go, let's all love Ollie again. But if he doesn't go now, people are like, you shouldn't be here. You're basically a poster boy for the Glazers, who we don't like, and it's not going to do Solskjaer any favours. I still firmly believe when he gets sacked, it will be a reset and everyone will just be like, we love Ollie the player again. But at the moment, there's no doubting, for some people, you see it, they are so frustrated and angry that he's still manager, they're sort of ignoring what he did in the past, which is very sad. I mean, I'm not going to do that. For me, Solskjaer is what he is as a player and he is what he is as a manager, and I'm not falling into this sentimentality, sympathy vote thing. That's not what this is about. This is about whether you're good enough for Manchester United as a manager. What's our obsession with Poch? All he mastered at Spurs is choking and done little to nothing at PSG. Do you want a mediocre manager, says Caps? I mean, look, controversial again, but I mean, if you're asking me, do I want Zidane or Pochettino? It's Zidane every day of the week. And if you're asking me if I want Brendan Rodgers or Pochettino, I think if Brendan Rodgers hadn't managed Liverpool, I'd probably say Brendan Rodgers. So, you know, I think Rodgers plays a better brand of football, and I think his development and recruitment is easily on par, if not better, than Pochettino. Pochettino did very well at Southampton, and his recruitment was very good at Southampton. It wasn't bad at Spurs. And PSG, it's hard to assess. But the only issue, I just think people, and I understand why, with Brendan Rodgers, just obsessed about this Liverpool thing. But if you actually spent the time to listen to some videos about Rodgers talking about tactics, and if you have actually spent the time to look at what he did at Swansea, how close he did come to doing well at Liverpool, what he did at Celtic, and now what he's done at Leicester, he's done it at 4 different clubs quite consistently. Development, good football, and very clear leadership as well. So I think he's done very, very well. But look, I hope there's something in the Zidane thing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Rodgers. I mean, all I would say on a personal note is that I'm really hoping that something's going to happen in the next sort of 24 hours, because Ollie will be back tomorrow, and I don't know that. I think, you know what? Logically, we're out of time. Logically, they're going to just push forward to Watford and more chaos, but there is still a slim part of me that thinks, why is he on? I mean, he's not even flown back in from Norway yet, Ollie, has he? Why have they sent everybody away for 8 days, 9 days? You know, I don't get it. I as a minimum, I thought, right, send him away on Monday. I thought he'd be back on Thursday. It's Sunday. It's 8 days after the Manchester derby, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's not spoken to his players or trained them. It's just weird. It's the longest reset I've seen. It would be so weird to sack Ollie now, says Sean Turner. They've left it too long. He will be in charge for what would, I'm sure of it, likelihood is after the Chelsea loss, says Sean Turner. Which is, again, I mean, Sean might be right on that, but for me, it's totally ridiculous, because you're potentially dropping 3 more points. That I personally think if we'd brought Conte in after the Liverpool game, we probably would have beaten Spurs and we might have lost to City. So same situation, and we did beat Atalanta, luckily. I think if you don't bring a new manager in now, we might not beat Watford, or we might beat Watford, but whatever, let's say we do. But I think against Chelsea with the new manager, I'd fancy us to get at least a draw at Stamford Bridge. And I know that sounds really ambitious, but I think with a new manager and a bounce and actual tactics, I think we could go to Chelsea and get a point. But I think going there with Ollie, I can't see us getting anything other than a loss. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. We drew against Atalanta. We didn't beat them, of course. And we were very lucky to get that draw as well. Get Zidane in, get Donny playing and save our season, says Jim. Well, look, Fabrizio Romano was talking about Donny van der Beek yesterday. And he said that Van der Beek loves United and he wants to stay. But if it carries on like this, he's going to leave in the summer. Sorry, he's going to leave in January. Maybe Ollie gets 28 days paid holiday per year, says Robert McCormack. So, yeah, I think that with Donny van der Beek's a prime example. I tell you what, I think Paul Pogba will sign a new contract if we get Zidane, by the way. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I think he would. Some people are saying don't get Zidane now. But, you know, I think for me that would be a positive, because whatever you think about Pogba, he is a valuable player walking out the door for nothing, and you don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen with Donny. I don't want it to happen with Martial. I think there's value in these players, whether it's a future at United or, you know, a chance at United where their price and value increases. Same goes for people like Tellez. So look, you know, a new manager is not just about results on the pitch. It's about rejuvenating a very frustrated and deluded, a disillusioned squad as well. So yeah, look, there's so many positives to changing this managerial setup, and there's so many negatives to not doing it. But we can't make that decision. Which brings me on to something I did want to talk about as well. The protest yesterday has it's really interesting, because yesterday, every year on the middle Saturday of the international break in November, I do an all-day charity stream, and I'm sure some of you watched it yesterday. And we raised £31,000 in not in 24 hours, in 12 hours. £31,000 in 12 hours for the Marie Curie Centre, which is a charity that's there for people with terminal illness, end-of-life care and bereavement support. So it's a very important charity. It's very close to my heart, because it's I'm at a funeral next Wednesday for somebody who died of cancer and utilised that fantastic charity in their last few months. Also somebody a few years ago, one of my friends as well. So it's a very important charity, and amazing. I'm so happy with what we did yesterday, because the target was 20,000 and we hit 31, and it will be more than that when we add in the super chat. So amazing, positive work from this community that went over to That's Football and is part of that on that YouTube channel. Positive community doing positive things. Now there was this protest at Old Trafford yesterday. Now, when I finished my stream last night, I was just catching up on social media. I had people attacking the United stand for not being part of the protest, and we had people attacking the United stand for organising the protest, because the protest didn't have many people at it, and it was labelled as the fan cam protest by the top Reds, and then by the people at the protest, the United stand was labelled as being obstructive to fans having their say. So you can't win either way, basically. But the truth of the matter is this. I don't live my life like many of you, where I differentiate on how where somebody's from. You know, it makes no difference to me. I've lived in many different places, and I don't meet people and go, you're from there, so you're better than them or you're worse than them. I don't do that. And I certainly don't do it in the United fan base. So for me, the things that disappointed me yesterday, and Akil says the board got no plans to spend next summer. A change in manager will force them to buy a few. That is another reason they are reluctant. I agree, Akil. And if Zidane comes, we could see a 4-1-2-1-2 midfield with Pogba, Bruno, Matic, Van der Beek, says Lucas. So the thing for me that disappointed me about yesterday in a personal sense was that all day when I was looking at social media to see what was going on, I could just see people ridiculing that 100 people turned up for a protest, and ridiculing your fellow fan, really. And that's because there is this elitism in the fan base where people think they're better than each other. And I think that is a real shame, because I think that you can disagree with each other, you can have different opinions, but I don't believe there is any better United fan than anybody else. And if you do, that's fine, but that's still elitism. That makes you an elitist. If you think you're better than somebody else, that makes you an elitist. And I don't live my life like that. So I have an issue with that, because I think that, you know, the name is Manchester United. You know, we're one of the clubs that actually has the name United in it, and we're not United. We're divided on so many things, and I think there is so much infighting. But what I would say is, as well, is that the protest had nothing to do with me or the United stand. Absolutely nothing to do with it. And if you want my honest opinion on it, we mentioned it because a lot of you said, can you mention it? So we'll always do that, because this is a platform for people who if they're going to do something like that, then of course we're going to tell people about it, because it's your choice. But absolutely zero responsibility in relation to that. In fact, I was very surprised when I heard that we were doing that they were doing a protest at 3 o'clock on an international break. There's no match. People are away. It's going to be, there's not going to be much football anywhere, and it was ridiculously rushed. But respect to those people who want to do that, because nobody should tell them they can't go and do it. But if they were expecting 10,000, 1,000 people there, everyone knew that was not going to happen. The second thing I would say as well is, because I'm looking at this from both sides, I have no axe to grind with either side. I wish everybody would come together on this issue of removing the Glazers as our owners, but I've learnt a lot over the last 5 years, and I've learnt a lot over the last 6 months about how things work. I, or the United Stand, was not approached by anybody who organised that protest yesterday. That's mistake number one. I guarantee they didn't approach Must. I guarantee they didn't approach the Red Army. I guarantee they didn't approach any other supporters groups. So saying there's a protest at 3 o'clock on Saturday and not engaging with fan groups is sets you up to fail straight away. If you want everybody to be together, you've got to at least try and approach people who have the influence to do something about it. And that is why the protest in May worked so well, because everybody came together. And that didn't happen yesterday. It was rushed, it was enthusiastic, but it ultimately failed because a lot of people didn't understand what it was about. Nobody was really contacted about it, and a lot of people didn't want to do it. And therefore it created more division, and basically it's caused more issues than good. And if you're Man United, you're probably sat smiling at that, because you're like, they're all arguing with each other. So I think it's a shame in that sense. But my overarching thing is that what has come out of that, United fans arguing with United fans, and I think that's a real shame, because I don't think that there should be any elitism. I think we're all United fans, and the sad thing is that it just seems to get worse and worse all the time with these arguments about who's a real fan. And look, I've had it levelled at me for years, and the reality is you can tweet what you like, you can say what you like. I am a United fan, I've been a United fan all my life, I am from Nottingham, I'm not from Manchester, and if you have an issue with that, that's your issue. But the reality is, these people that you're going around saying aren't real fans, this, that and the other, who are you to tell people who a real fan is? The people go around up to you saying you're not a proper fan because you did this, you did that. I don't get this mentality. The reality is, the modern world is the modern world. And I'll tell you for free that we've got 1.2 million subscribers. We have a lot of people watching our channel, but also, more importantly, our social media accounts are very big. They have been offered up to Manchester United fan groups to use in relation to getting messages out. And that will continue to happen. Some of them have used it, some of them have chose not to. But the reality is, we're always open for business when it comes to uniting the fan base around common causes and goods. But there has to be communication, and it has to be unified, and that is where these things will fail. And look, I've got no issue with anybody who turned up yesterday, and I'm not going to criticise them, but you could see what was going to happen, and you can see why some people would be frustrated yesterday, not because people were protesting, but because 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon on Twitter, that is not going to get the key fan groups to go, let's all go. They need to be spoken to. They need to be respected. And they probably would say no anyway for their own reasons. But you can't just put 3 o'clock on Saturday and expect everyone to turn up and then moan at people when they don't. What went on in May was the result of coordinated meeting and strategy. Absolute fact. And look what happened. The team couldn't get to the ground. People got into the ground. There was thousands of people there, and it was all over the world news. The one yesterday, 100 people, fair play for turning up, but where's the coordination? Where's the chat with the fan groups? It wasn't. It was rushed. It was 3 o'clock, be there or be square, and it ended up being what it was. And the people who were there, in no way is that saying you're wrong, but ultimately, has it done more bad than good? I don't know, but the thing is, I'm tired of the arguments between United fans. I think it causes more issues, and I don't think it helps us move forward. And I think the only people it benefits is the people that we're trying to get a message to, which is this board, which is just incompetent. And whilst the battle is with the board, that's the battle. How can you have a battle with the board when you're fighting amongst each other? And that's the sentence, isn't it? That's the sentence. But I did find it quite funny last night when I'd finished the stream, and I'm like, we're in the conversation from both sides, and we were actually in neither conversation. We were not involved in it at all. Fully Glazers out, but the season they've given Ollie everything he wanted, and Ronaldo, our focus should be on Ollie out right now, not the Glazers, says James. And did you see Avram Grazer tried to say Ronaldo joined at 16? No wonder we're in the mess. They don't have a clue, says Jay London. And Zayn Miassi, he's doing a little bit of shaking of the maracas there. Zayn, well done. What a contribution Zayn made yesterday, 450 quid as well to the charity stream, which is absolutely amazing. So Jay Razor says Zidane's just started a new tennis business. I think Zidane is a smokescreen. I think Brendan Rodgers, there might be something in it, but I'll say what I've said before. Why has this decision not happened? Why have we spent 8 days hiding in a cave? Because basically, what has Manchester United Football Club done since the humiliation against Man City 8 days ago? They've gone into hiding. Is that what United is? Lots of football clubs have their motto on their badge. United's motto at the moment is run away and hide. That's not what Man United's about. You go back to the biggest moment in Manchester United's history, the tragedy of Munich. The club was on its knees. And Manchester United fought back from something that many people thought that Manchester United would never ever come back from. And, Jimmy Murphy was massively part of that. Matt Busby's right-hand man. Matt Busby was in hospital in Munich fighting for his life. And Jimmy Murphy put that club back together again. And today actually marks the passing of his death. And, how symbolic is that of Manchester United's situation today? Over the last 8 days, Manchester United have gone into hiding. And Jimmy Murphy, who passed away and was Sir Matt Busby's right-hand man, when that club was in its darkest hour, lifted it up and kept it going. And now here we are today. So, this is really important to me. The contrast between Manchester United Football Club and what it means to so many people is symbolised by people like Jimmy Murphy, who rebuilt that football club after Munich. And here we are in 2021 going into hiding because we've been humiliated by Man City. And the contrast is not lost on me. That's what this football club is. We don't go into hiding. We aim to survive and be the best. And we've now got people in charge who go hide away and start spinning plates. We will see. We will see what happens. But look, I would love Zidane as Manchester United manager. I would definitely take Brendan Rodgers, but at the moment it looks like United are hiding away, and it's no change, no change. Do you think there was already something agreed, but they hold the announcement until tonight for the stock market tomorrow? I can only hope, says Reeves. Look, there's still part of me, and I don't want anyone to get excited, there's still part of me from what I've heard over the last 7 days that there's definitely something going on. And whilst Ollie's not taking the train, I've always said this, while Solskjaer's not training the team, you've still got to believe that there's an element of competency in that football club that they're going to make a change. But the minute he takes training, that's over. We'll see. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Check out Boohoo Man, 40% off with the code United Stand. Links in the video description. You can get one of these absolute beauties. I'm going to go for a walk now, actually, so get me thumbs in. Get my thumbs in. And we have got the show tonight on the United Stand. I don't know what time it's going to be. Probably be, I don't know. I'm quite tired, so I might see if I can assemble the crew for 7. But if not, it'll be 8 o'clock. We'll see how it goes. But thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. And I'll speak to you all in a bit.